Hi, this is TapCat. Welcome to this prologue of Klutz Play Dark Souls. And in it, I'm going to talk about why I'm playing Dark Souls now, how I'm going to approach the game, why am I calling it Klutz Play. Anyway, we'll get to all of those things. So first, let's talk about why I'm playing the game now, because obviously it's been out for years. So, first of all, I discovered Dark Souls, I would say, quite a bit of time after it came out. I don't know exactly when. And I actually did play it quite a lot about a year and a half ago. And, I have, over the years, tried many games and not finished them. And usually that's because I just lose interest in them. Like I played the Tomb Raider reboot that they did for a little while. And I liked it okay. But as with almost every shooter I've ever played, I just lost interest in it. I just didn't care enough to keep playing. But it's what is very rare is when I play a game and I really get into it and then I don't finish it. Maybe because it's too hard or too frustrating or whatever. As a general rule, I finish what I start. And, like if I'm into it, man, no way. I won't back down. But Dark Souls kind of got the better of me. I struggled initially a lot and then I started getting in a groove. And I made it all the way to Tomb of the Giants. So if you're familiar with the game, you know where that is. And I just got kind of worn down by some of the things in the game. And instead of, suffering a defeat of some kind and bouncing right back like I did earlier, looking for the way, to approach it better, I just got more and more frustrated and I didn't care anymore. I didn't want to keep going. And that's always kind of rankled me. Now, when Bloodborne came out, that was, one that got my attention again. And I played it. And I actually, when I bought it, I kind of thought it might go like Dark Souls. I thought, well, I'll play it and I'll enjoy it for as long as I can. And then if I don't finish, I don't finish. It's not the end of the world. But I did finish. And then I had enjoyed it so much, I played it again all the way through and again all the way through. I went 4 times through that game, then started working on the Chalice dungeons, in earnest. And what I learned in the process of playing Bloodborne is there were bosses that when I first fought them, it felt literally impossible to win. Like seriously, I knew that somewhere in the world there were people who basically had, come into the world with a controller in their hand and they could do it. But for me to be able to beat them just seemed like, man, I'll never be quick enough and precise enough, with my movements. And it's just, there's no way, I'll have to summon help or whatever. Well, here's the interesting thing is that as I kept playing and working at it, and in some of the Chalice dungeon areas, there was literally no one you could summon. I could have summoned other people, but that actually was problematic. I won't go into it because this isn't a Bloodborne video. But at any rate, I was forced to get good and win or quit, period. And I won. I did it. And I later, like even some of the bosses in the normal game, like depending on which ending you go for, he may or may not be the last boss, but he's widely regarded as being really difficult. And in my first playthrough, I don't even think I ever got him down to half health. I mean, he just worked me. And I summoned help and then we beat him like a dog. But, what does that mean? I did it because somebody else did it, right? At least in large part. But anyway, what's funny is my last 2 playthroughs, I soloed them. And, one of them, I was doing it with a character that used ranged attacks. So even though I soloed them, it didn't feel as meaningful in a way. But the last time, I took them with melee weapons only. And even from the very first attempt, I felt like I can do this. I think I got him down to like 20% of his health before he killed me. And I just never believed I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So I learned that, no matter how tough it seems, no matter how much it feels like you just can't, part of it is learning how to do it better as far as your strategy or tactics goes. But part of it is you do just get better at reacting if you keep playing, if you keep trying. So I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot about Bloodborne, but they're very much related because it made me think about Dark Souls. It's from the same studio and everything. And I started to think that, hey, maybe some of these challenges that were really frustrating to me when I played Dark Souls, I can do that. I could beat them, and I wouldn't necessarily have to summon other people to help me with this boss or that boss. I just need to learn to play better. The Dark Souls community actually has a funny, I don't know if saying is the right word. It's kind of an insult and it's kind of encouragement all at the same time, where if somebody's complaining that, oh, this boss is too hard or it's unfair or whatever, and the response will be get good, and it's funny because I think it's like the perfect Dark Souls thing to say, because it really does come down to that. Sure, there's parts of the game that are a little wonky and whatnot, but really, most of the time, if you're getting your butt handed to you again and again, then it's because you need to do something differently. You need to do something better. It's you, and you need to be open to that. You need to be looking for that. So I am going to play Dark Souls again, and I'm going to do my damnedest to get good. All right. Now, I think that's enough about why I'm going to play. I want to play again because this game beat me, and I don't like that. All right. I want to beat it. So we're going to try to do that. Now, why am I playing at Let's Play? Because I guess I didn't talk about this part. If you look at the channel, you'll see I play a lot of turn-based strategy and thinky games. And I don't play a lot of action games. And that's because I really suck at action games. Like, anything that are about twitch reflexes, keeping mapped in my brain like 15 different buttons on a controller. And in this situation, you hit this one. Oh, now that one. Oh, wait, no, it's these two at the same time. Like, that's really difficult for me. And I know that a lot of people just laugh at that because it's nothing to them. I think part of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less you play games that need you to do that, then the harder it is for you when you do that. And I mostly play on PC, and I mostly play games, like an XCOM or a Civilization 5. I can sit on my ass and I can think about what I want my next move to be for just as long as I want. And really the only time pressure I ever have is, if I'm recording, I am aware that I want to keep the video moving. Even though I am very aware that I'm babbling in this, but whatever. So, yeah, I am really bad at those. And Dark Souls, though, and Bloodborne and things like this, they're funny games because they're very much action games, and you certainly have to handle your controller the right way. You have to move at the right time and all that. But somehow, I wouldn't describe them as where your skill with the controller will be the defining question of whether you're successful. A lot of it is how you prepare and how you approach an area and, things like that. So I feel like in some ways, this is sort of an ultimate challenge for Dark Souls. Is it really a game that's about thinking as much or more than controller skills. Because if it's all about controller skills, I won't finish. I will lose. But I don't think that's going to happen because obviously if I did, I wouldn't even go down this road. Okay, so that covers klutz play. And plus it just serves, I guess, my peculiar sense of humor. Now, let's talk about how I'm going to approach the game. I looked at a lot of different possible builds. I'll be honest, partly at first I was thinking, okay, what's the easiest way to get through this? And I read a lot of people saying that sorcerers are really good, almost overpowered. And I tried sorcerer as kind of a test run. I wanted to see, how that would go. And the thing is, I actually found it a little boring to play. I'm just standing there kind of holding a stick and shooting beams of light out of it a lot of the time. And I felt like it would be very boring to watch somebody do that because Dark Souls is a long game. And I feel like it also would cheapen the accomplishment in a way for me. It doesn't feel like Dark Souls the way I want to play it. So I'm not going to do that. When I played last time and got to Tomb of the Giants, I used a strength-based character. So I can't even remember anymore. I want to say I started early with a bastard sword. I didn't go super heavy, but I can't remember. I may have upgraded to a great sword later. I know I didn't use one of the monstrous clubs, but I'm very tempted to do that again. I will admit, just put on the heaviest freaking armor that I can find in the game and the weapon that'll just pound through anyone's defenses. But I don't want to do the same thing again, and the thing that I failed at, no less. And also, I think after Bloodborne, and in Bloodborne you don't even get a shield, so you're constantly needing to be nimble, because that's really your only defense against taking damage. So I kind of like the idea of using a slightly Bloodborne-esque play style for this run. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with a pyromancer as my class. Now, if you're not familiar with Dark Souls, that, as you might guess, means you're going to throw fire. But they have a very limited range, and your starting class doesn't mean a lot the way it would like in a D&D game or something like that. I can put points into anything and basically make this guy anything, and so I'm going to really pump up the dexterity and, try and use a quick weapon and have somewhat of a dodging style. I've been working on parrying. And if you don't know about that, that's fine. When I actually start the gameplay, I'll show that. So it's funny because I say I'm a klutz with a controller, and in general I am, but I am going to try to face that head on, okay? I'm going to try and do this in a way that demands me to at least get a certain level of proficiency using the controller to dodge attacks, parry attacks, and strike when there's an opening. And not just hide behind this absolutely enormous shield and then, do a Hulk smash thing. Although, the funny thing is, if I beat it this way, I might actually play the game a second time with a strength build and just try to do a better job of it than I did the first time. I don't know if I would record that. I don't know if anyone will be interested. We'll see how this one goes. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So, okay, I think that covers everything. I will say this. I'm going to try and do the game 100%. Now, I'm talking about the base game. I'm not going to do DLC. I've seen it. I've watched Let's Plays of it. And I'll be honest, I didn't really care for it. I will do at least most of the game, even if the area is optional. There may, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to pledge that it'll be an absolute 100%, but I would like to do that. And to the extent that I can, I will try to highlight the quests from the different NPCs and things like that. And I am certainly no lore master when it comes to Dark Souls, but I'll try and honor those things as much as I can, because I don't know. I feel like even if you've watched a number of Let's Plays or if you've played the game numerous times yourself, it just makes the game feel richer to me, and it makes me appreciate it more, and hopefully it will be the same for viewers. And I'm also very aware that, no matter how old Dark Souls or other games might be, there's always someone who's discovering it for the first time. And if you skip all the cutscenes and all that, and that's their first, exposure to it, it kind of sucks, right? They just miss all of that. So I'm not going to do it that way. I will try and include all of that. Okay, so I think I have now rambled on long enough. I think we are well over 15, 16 minutes. And that's a long time to just listen to somebody babble. So that's it for part 0. When we come back, I will actually start the game. We'll be at the very beginning. And, I guess that's the only other thing I should say is the only thing I'll do off camera during the series is if I do any farming. And if you don't know what that is either, don't worry about it. I'll explain it when we get there. But if I just go around, well, I guess I'll explain it now. If I just go around killing a bunch of, things over and over and over again to try to get certain materials or whatever, that would be very boring to watch. And I'm not going to put people through that. So, all right, now I really am done. Thank you for watching. I hope we see you next time.